Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hello and welcome to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, and here we are ready to answer more of the questions you might have about the struggles that you're going through, the issues that you're facing. We want to help you, and we've got a great team here in the studio. I've got Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton. They are clinical psychologists, and they want to help you with whatever it is you're going through. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Hello, Brian. Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you guys had a good day yesterday.
Yeah, and Jill, you've got some words of wisdom to start us off with?
Well, I thought here on January 2nd, what better topic than looking at our yearly intentions, because New Year's Day has passed and we start looking forward to the next year. And so something that I have done over the last several years is I have met with a couple of friends and we do our yearly intentions. And so it's a time to kind of, with others, to talk out loud the things that you want for the year moving forward. And then we meet every quarter to update our intentions, to review them and say, okay, what's working, what's not, how do we want to modify them? And this is a way of helping us to have some accountability and some intentionality, right? To be intentional, not to overuse that word, but so we start with the larger categories and then we get more specific. So our spiritual life, our family life, work and financial, friendships, community, health, and then quality of life enjoyment. And so we have each of these kind of broad categories, and then we say, okay, in each category, where do we want to maybe do some more work? What needs improvement here? And then, dare we say that we might even put a goal down, right? We have one person in the group that doesn't like that word, but and others who do. So then you can get more specific. And it's interesting to see. I mean, I have to admit that I have some intentions that I've been carrying over for 3 years. And so it's always useful to look at what worked, what didn't work, why didn't it work, why didn't I do that? I had every intention of doing that. What's holding me up? And to dig a little deeper, because sometimes we have some emotional resistance to things. We know it's a good idea, but we don't move forward on it. And so that gives us an area to do some personal growth in. And I think it's always good to start with, okay, what are God's intentions towards us, right? Because we've got to start with him, because unless we put him first and honor him, it's kind of like first things first. Who cares what our intentions or our goals are? Because he needs to be in the middle of it. And so a couple of verses that I was thinking of in terms of what God asks of us, and kind of like, the greatest of all commandments is that we love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. So that's from Matthew 22:37. And Mark repeats it. Mark 12:30 and 31. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And so we've got to start with that. We've got to start with a firm foundation, and then we add, and we ask God, what would you have for me this year? We bring it to the Lord in prayer, and then we start to build our intentions for the year. And you can start out with just a few. Don't go crazy. Keep it simple.
Can you name those categories again? Because I think somebody wants to do this year.
Spiritual, family, work, financial, friendships, community, health, and quality of life enjoyment.
Great. So when you see your friends this weekend or next week, you get together, just set aside a time to do this. And then, like Jill said, you meet once a quarter and you challenge yourselves and you keep yourselves accountable to see where it is on where you are in your intentions and in your goals. Okay, so we're going to get to some phone calls in just a little bit here on New Life Live. Thank you for listening today, and thank you for watching as well. And you can learn more about us at newlife.com.
I've been struggling with a porn addiction for the last 20 years.
Are you struggling with porn? New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive can help.
Every Man's Battle explains to you why you are like you are, and they give you the tools and they show you how to work your way through the problems and where to get help and how to get help and who to get help through.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
This was the first time in my life that I ever felt comfortable sharing the real me with other men.
Get help on January 20th in Atlanta. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50 on your registration.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me.
You don't have to struggle any longer. 1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back on New Life Live. I'm Brian Perez here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for watching. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube. Maybe you're listening on the radio or on Sirius XM or on the New Life app or on a podcast. There are so many ways to listen and watch nowadays, and we thank you for being a part of our listening audience and our viewing audience as well. So we're going to get to some phone calls in just a little bit, but first I want to tell you about another tip sheet that we are offering you for free, and you can get this one by calling us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and along the lines of what Jill was talking about just a few minutes ago, 13 keys to reaching your goals. Now, I don't know if these are the same 13 that Jill mentioned.
No, but there's some overlap here.
Yeah, there's some overlap.
I can see now.
Yeah, so now these 13 keys, plus what Jill mentioned earlier, you'll have like 15, 18, 20, I don't know, but this will be good, and these will all help you to stay on track in 2025. And one of the keys that I want to bring up really quick is the one that says failure is not the worst thing that can happen to us. So if you mess up on that New Year's resolution, if you have one too many cookies out of the cookie jar one day and you think, oh, I blew it, there goes my diet, I'm just going to, no, don't. You can just
start
dust yourself
over
off
every
and
day.
Try again. Is that what earlier this week we were talking about that? Okay, so give us a call. We would love to chat with you. And right now we're going to go to the phones. Where shall we go, guys? Lots of good calls here. How about we start with Mark in Memphis? Thank you so much for calling in, and thank you for listening to us on Sirius XM.
Yes, sir. I do appreciate y'all. I listen to y'all a lot. Pretty much every time I get in my vehicle, that's all I listen to.
Oh. Thank you, Mark.
Can you say that again? Maybe we can create a promo out of that. We can just, this is Mark's voice telling us what he does every day. So what's going on with you, Mark?
So I've been married for 16 years. We've been together for approximately 18 years. We have a beautiful baby girl who's 15, straight A student, just lovable kid. And I've actually caught my wife cheating on me about 6 or 7 times. Now she's only admitted to a sexual encounter with one guy, and one of the guys that she was actually cheating on me with was in prison. And she actually sent a picture of my daughter to him.
Oh no!
And I, got really upset about that because my daughter's a beautiful girl, and you don't know if he's passing that around to folks.
Right.
You get what I mean. So that's dangerous. And I really, really want to make this marriage work. I love my wife, I do. But the problem is the trust. It's like it's gone. Now let me just say this as well. In our first year of marriage, I cheated. And there's no excuse for cheating at all. But I will say this, just so everybody can be aware. My wife, she wasn't cooking, she wasn't cleaning. She wasn't sleeping with me. And this other female kind of came aboard, and I started talking to, and she actually became that female that I wanted because of the things that I told her. And that's dangerous. I feel like if you're in a marriage, do not tell a member of the opposite sex
You're right.
on what you are going through, because that person will sometimes transform into that individual that you want, and that's going to be really tempting.
Well, it's when you're being more intimate with someone else other than your spouse.
Yes.
Right.
And Mark,
Emotionally.
what have you and your wife repented? Where are you in the process of healing from your mistakes?
We have both repented, and so when I would catch her, speaking to another man on the phone, she would promise me that she would never do it again, but then I'll catch her again with the same individual. And this went on for 2 or 3 years. Then there was a car salesman. Then there was a ex-boyfriend. Then there was a dude in prison.
Okay, but Mark, it's not just about stopping this behavior. It's about finding out what's missing. Because sure, you both can try to police each other and you can make all kinds of promises. But if you're not working on growing your relationship and expanding both of your capacity for intimacy, then it's just going to keep happening because the need is still there, or the way of coping is still there. And so this is about, okay, you both have cheated. So now, you know, like you're even, right? In some ways. So what do you have to do to lean into this relationship and make each other number one again?
Right.
And Mark, to hear you say, we repented, but then you went on with the list of all the ways that she maybe has continued to break trust, and to hear that she sent your minor daughter's photo to a prisoner. If she is not in regular, ongoing individual work and groups, and she's doing a whole lot of work to rebuild trust with you,
and
then
marital
that
therapy.
one example is you said dangerous, and I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Your daughter's in danger unless your wife has done a 180 and is giving you ongoing proof that she's getting a whole lot of professional help to change. Is she doing that? Is she at that level of the change process?
She is not. I've tried. I'm a veteran, and so there's certain services that they offer for families. So I've tried to get her to go on. No, I'm sorry. Try to get her to go, to therapy. Set up 2 appointments, and she never showed up.
Mark, we can hear your struggle to speak because you're
so
overwhelmed, and your wife is not doing the necessary work to become trustworthy yet, even if she has stopped some things and if she's cleaned up some things, but it is not enough. Now, do you believe your daughter is in danger of being put in a position to be sex trafficked, something along those lines?
I really don't know, but that's something that I'm scared of every single day.
Yes, and you have to be afraid of that because there's evidence that something like that was perhaps getting started. So we've got to look at something incredibly serious here because your daughter might be in danger if your wife is not willing to do the work. Have you been considering a temporary therapeutic separation for the sake of protecting your daughter and saving your marriage?
I have, and the main issue is, like, with my daughter, when we mentioned it, she had, like, a complete breakdown. She did not want me to leave. We had to put her in the shower to calm her down, because me and my daughter are really, really close. Like, she always tells me that I'm her best friend, and she confides with me in everything,
Of course it will. And did your wife see this? What she did to her own child?
No, she never, like, every time I've tried to talk to her about it, she'll keep bringing up what I did,
All those years ago?
Well, yes, from, that was back in 2008, 2007.
Right, and it's good to admit, yes, I did something terrible, and I am sorry. But right now...
Oh, can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say this. Now, during that time period, I actually left the house and moved in with that female. And I began reading the Bible. And this is, I have no reason to lie. Every single night I would open that Bible, try to read it, and it always fell on something dealing with adultery. Every single time.
God was after you, and you responded to God.
Yes, ma'am. I ended up going back to my wife. You know, we went through counseling with our church for like almost 2 years.
Mark, we honor that you did that change work. You probably need to keep doing more because you may not have repaired the trust that you broke. But we got to go back to your daughter again, because if you were thinking of leaving the house and leaving your daughter with her mother, of course that leaves her with the person who is untrustworthy. Now, your situation is very complicated. What I think we need to do is get you in with an individual counselor right away who will set up a safety plan for you and your daughter and help determine, do you really need to leave the home? Do you need to ask your wife to leave the home? Do you need to insist that she does? I don't know what that exact answer is, but I know your wife is not doing the work to rebuild trust, and your daughter is the one who is in danger.
And you have to find out, what does your daughter need to feel safe? I think that's an important question.
And your daughter's emotions, they cannot dictate the safety plan. They have to be taken into account. But of course, if you have to temporarily separate from her mother, that's going to break her heart. It might be necessary if the danger level is as high as you described it from that one example. But we need to unpack more details to determine, am I being too extreme in what I'm saying? Or is this necessary for a time to wake your wife up so she knows what she did is that serious? Let us connect you with a counselor so that this can get unpacked and an appropriate safety plan that's not going too overboard, but that's at the right level of intervention.
Well, right. And I think with your wife also, it's what does she need from you? Because she keeps bringing it back to you. And how many times of her cheating makes up for what you did?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
But what she says is because I suffer from PTSD, depression, so for a time period, I kind of just checked out. You know, I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't want to speak to somebody. And I've changed that. You know, she keeps saying that. You know,
how long ago did you change that? How long ago?
That was about probably 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so she's lived. Okay, so she's lived like almost 13 years with you unchanged. So this is fairly new for her. She has not caught up to your change yet. And I think it's important for you to acknowledge that you realize you have a lot of years to make up for, that not only was there the cheating, but that you checked out. And so it makes sense why she would be looking for affection elsewhere, even though it's not right. It's not an excuse, but it makes sense. And so that you realize still it's going to take even more time. And will she give you that time? Will she abstain from seeking affection elsewhere and work with you for the sake of your daughter?
Mark,
I do have one question. So, like, I pay all the bills, every single bill. I do the cooking. I do the cleaning.
Mark, I'm going to interrupt you. You are telling us too many of your strengths, and I think you're doing that to your wife, and that is not helping your cause.
Okay.
You got to humble down, brother. You got to humble down and stay not with all the good things you're doing, which are laudable.
Great, and keep doing them.
But not keep talking about them, because you hurt her. She's reacting to the hurt. It's not defensible. It's not justifiable. But you haven't done enough long enough to repair the hurt you caused.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, see, because there's a difference between 16 years ago I cheated on her, and I've been repenting ever since. And I just started repenting 3 years ago. There's a difference there.
I know you received that from us, so I thank you for it. We're going to get you connected with a counselor. We're going to send you Worthy of Her Trust by Jason Martinkus, and that will help your case, and it will help get this whole family safe quickly.
Do you think his wife might have a sexual addiction problem, because she's looking for fulfillment in other relationships and putting her own family at risk?
I think she's felt very lonely and very hurt, and that lingered, right? And so now she is, one, angry and getting back, retaliating, right? But also just trying to kind of plug up her wounds.
And that can certainly develop
in a really wrong way.
And it could develop into a sexual addiction. That's why we're all so vulnerable to addiction. It's an inappropriate way to try to solve a real problem.
Coping.
Yeah.
Okay, so stay on the phone and we will send you a copy of that book. And again, this resource is also available on our website, newlife.com. So many resources there that are available for purchase. And there's a lot of resources there that are available for free. there's videos, there's the tip sheets. Well, the tip sheets you got to call in to get, but there's so much information that you can find on our website, newlife.com. And the reason I bring up that we give it out for free is to remind you that there is a cost of producing these resources and mailing them out. And so that's where you can help us by making a financial contribution towards the work that we do here at New Life. We've been doing this for dozens of years now. We have helped so many families, and there are many more families and individuals to help out in 2025. And we would love you to partner alongside us. You can become a Club New Life member. There's more information about that on our website as well, newlife.com. All right, if you're on hold right now, stay on hold. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back with more of your questions here on New Life Live. I am Brian Perez, here with Doctors Alice Benton and Jill Hubbard, and we're going to talk to you and try to give you a great 2025 here on New Life Live. We'll be right back.
What a New Life course is it's around a topic led by a professional licensed counselor coach with a small group of 8 or 9 people on a weekly Zoom call. You're going to go through the information, but also connect as a group. Those group processes make all the difference in the world. And so we have created New Life courses so that you can experience that on a weekly basis. One of them is going to be grief recovery care. We also have one for Lose It for Life. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful. And it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us. We're going to start those the week of January 13th, so you can sign up right away with 8 or 9 slots open. They're going to go quick, and so you want to call today and get registered.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back on New Life Live. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks for watching us today. My name is Brian Perez, and in the studio with me, Dr. Jill Hubbard and Alice Benton. Almost mixed you guys up there.
We've switched our last names.
You've switched your last names, yes. So we're going to take some more phone calls in just a little bit. First, a reminder that the Every Man's Battle Intensive begins next weekend, January 10th in Atlanta, and there's still time to get in. Guys, you will never regret working on your sexual integrity. You can find out more about the Every Man's Battle Intensive at newlife.com. You can also register there. And don't forget that the Every Man's Battle podcast season 2 begins real soon, too. You can find out more details at newlife.com. Okay, shall we go back to the phones? Mm-hmm. We shall. Sally in Houston, Texas. Welcome to New Life Live. You're on with Alice Benton and Jill Hubbard.
Thank you. Yes, this is regarding my daughter. She left home. She's about 21 now, so she left home and she doesn't communicate. We were very close, and she doesn't even communicate. I don't know what happened in between. She doesn't communicate with anybody, any of our relatives. And we tried to reach her in college. She's in college right now. So we tried to reach her in college, but she restricted us from going there.
Oh.
So there is no way it's been very painful. So I just want to know, how can I reconnect with her? I don't know. We have been trying different ways, but we were not successful. So,
Sally, how long has it been since she cut off communication?
It's been 1.5 years now.
Oh. And has it been absolute silence from her for 1.5 years?
Yes, but what happened was in April, she did reach out to me saying that the Holy Spirit told her to call.
Oh.
So she did call, but she did not. I said, can you at least tell me how you're doing? Just text me. But after that, I didn't hear anything.
Did she say anything of substance in that phone call?
No, I mean, actually, she did not. She said that I'm grown, and I'm not a kid.
So,
and she said that we have freedom to choose. Those are the few words she said.
Is she in a relationship with someone?
No. I mean, as far as I know, the police, we talked to the police, no, she doesn't have any kind of relationship. She's by herself. And a lot of friends are concerned because she doesn't talk to them either.
And you talked to the police because you were worried about her safety? Did you have them do a wellness check?
Yes, that's what we were trying to do. Every time we were trying to do a wellness check. And at first they wouldn't tell because she doesn't like to, talk to anybody. And they said that, okay, we'll just go check on her and we'll tell you how she's doing. That's all. They won't say anything else.
So, Sally, has this been ever since she left home? Like she's been in school 1.5 years? Or
yes, she's in school. That's all I know. She's in school right now.
Okay, and are you paying for her education?
Well, of course, I was, but she stopped. She stopped right after she left.
Wait,
she started funding her own education?
No, she probably took a loan or something, but she didn't want anything from me anymore.
Wow. Okay, and was her home growing up? Were you strict parents? Is her dad? Go ahead.
She's very close. Well, she's very close to her dad, but she was very, very close to me. There's not a day go by that we don't talk.
Okay.
She's always on time and talking to me every time.
So what a shocking difference to go from daily loving communication to nothing. I mean, it seems so mysterious on the surface. I do think she gave us a clue. She said, I'm grown and I'm not a kid. And that sounds like she felt like she was treated like a kid, a little kid probably, for a bit too long.
I'm very protective of her. Maybe she's thinking that, but I gave her all the freedom. She can do anything she wants to. I mean, I'm just like a little protective of her. I mean, that's how you...
Sally, I'm going to interrupt you because I want to point out how quickly you went to pointing out the good you do as a mom versus staying with me in this pain that you were overprotective. Now, you admitted it. I give you credit for that. You admitted it. But rather than telling us more good, we've got to focus on the fact that you might have been overprotective. She might have felt stifled, even though perhaps she didn't tell you.
Or maybe she didn't know how stifled she was until she got a taste of being away from home. Because a lot of times it's just normal for children, and they're in that environment, and then they get something new and different, and they see what other kids are experiencing. And this is a natural time for kids to separate and individuate anyway. So there's always some pushback, at least midway through college is a typical time for that to occur. But if she felt like you were very much overly protective, she's pushing back a little harder.
And granted, she's taken an extreme route to it. This is so painful. It's not right of her to disconnect that abruptly and that severely.
Yes.
But we want to help you see why, perhaps, and what you can do about it now. And I know that's what you're asking.
Yes, and stay on the phone there, Sally in Texas, and we're going to take a quick break here on New Life Live. We'll be back with more questions. We've got some calls on the board. Don't hang up. We'll get to you if we can this hour. And thank you so much for listening to New Life Live. I'm Brian Perez here with doctors Alice Benton and Jill Hubbard. I got the names right this time. This is New Life Live. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We'll be right back.
Restore gave me strength. It gave me more belief in my faith. I met up with a group of women that are going through things that they had no control over.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, May 2nd through the 4th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Hi there, I'm Brian Perez here with Doctors Alice Benton and Jill Hubbard. They are clinical psychologists and they are here today to chat with you about whatever it is that you want to talk about. And we're going to get to some more calls in just a little bit. Thank you so much for holding if you're on hold right now. But first, we want to wrap up with our previous call. That was Sally, so we had some resource that we wanted to offer her.
So Sally, I'm thinking that sometimes as parents, our intentions are so good towards our children. And sometimes we lack, though, awareness of what our child is experiencing, especially if we feel like the relationship is very close and then there's been this shift. Sometimes we can be more overprotective than we even realize because maybe that's how we were raised. Sometimes culturally, it's a factor where parents can be very, a little more strict and overprotective. And so I think to the degree that your daughter is pushing you away, I think you have to look at, instead of going to, well, I gave her all the freedom in the world. Okay, what is she pushing away from? And she's telling me, Alice, like you said, that she has grown. So I would do some reflecting because chances are, life was different for your daughter than it was when you were growing up. And so to try to maybe, I would probably write a letter and say, I'm becoming more aware of maybe how you might have felt held back in your growing up. And now is a time where you're away from home and you're seeing different perspectives, different ways of being in the world. And that I want you to know that I want to be in a parent to adult-child relationship with you. I no longer see you as a kid. And I would like to see if we could navigate that. And I'm willing to take some cues from you as to how much is too much or too little. Would you be willing to engage in that way?
And I would say that prepare that letter, Get into your own individual counseling work so you can have a better understanding of how overprotective was I. And then I would give it a little time before you send the letter, especially if you've done a wellness check through the police recently or you've made
multiple
attempts
times
recently. Right.
Yeah.
Because her stance against that is so extreme. She needs some space away from you, but have the letter prepared. Let God nudge you of when you should send it, and be comforted in that the Holy Spirit nudged your daughter. He wants the connection in your family, and she responded to the Holy Spirit. So you have a believer there. Give her time, and I think that with the preparation you're doing, she'll come back around and you'll be ready.
And we're going to send you, Sally, Doing Life with Your Adult Children by Jim Burns.
Okay, stay on the phone, Sally, and we'll send that out to you. That's another book that's available for purchase at newlife.com. All right, let's go to Los Angeles. Here is Eleanor, and listening on KKLA. Hi there, Eleanor. Thank you for calling in to New Life Live.
Thank you for taking my call. I have a question that is, how can I be a better friend to my friend? We've been friends since 6th grade, who lost her 57-year-old daughter to cancer, leaving her husband and her teenage son. My friend is a missionary in Taiwan, and she says she cannot grieve the loss of her daughter because she believes that although her daughter said she was a Christian, she really was not a Christian according to my friend's standards. And rather than disciple her daughter, she judged her daughter to the point of going through the house with her phone, videoing, looking for evidence of what my friend thought a Christian should have in their home. And so she said, she had a wonderful time visiting with her daughter and her friend and her family, but there's no Jesus here. And I said to my friend, well, aren't you there? Didn't you bring Jesus with you? So I'm really kind of, I'm annoyed with my friend, and she feels that anyone who is alienated from her family in particular, is because Jesus said that you would be alienated from others, from your family. Leave your mom, leave your family in order to be devoted for Him. So I discussed this with someone else, and then they said, "Oh, she's grieving." And so I did say to her that I understand that your response to your daughter's death really is your form of grieving. I left it at there, but what I'm thinking is that she's bringing others to Christ, but yet she wasn't able to bring her daughter to Christ. I also said to her that what you were looking for in your daughter was looking for in you. And
Eleanor, you have mixed emotions in trying to be a friend to your friend, but it's hard because you see some truths that she may not see. And are you wondering from us how to handle that, what to say, what not to say?
Yeah, and how to be a friend, and gosh, just being a friend for so long.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, I want to see her in heaven, and I'm sure she's expecting me not to be there, but I'm sure
Your friend is not expecting you to be there?
I think I kind of get that it's almost like I'm going to heaven, but you're not. No one else
So
is.
she has a very legalistic, narrow view of what it means to be a Christian. And
yes, she does.
Yeah. And so in that, how sad that that's what she's clinging to. And sometimes we have hurts and we have guilt. And so then we can hide behind our spirituality as a form of protection. And I get the sense that your friend is doing that. Here she's dedicated her life to missionary work, but she's kind of become holier than thou. And that could be from some burnout on the mission field, not doing her own emotional growth work. I mean, that's often seen on the mission field because you're just giving. And so you have to prop yourself up with kind of a rigid structure instead of being human, right, to people and actually being Christ's hands and feet, not everyone's judge. I mean, that becomes more like a Pharisee. And so I think sometimes we have to lean into a friend and listen, but lovingly say, well, I see it a little different and I'm sad for you. And, you know, you've known her a long time, Eleanor, so you know how she is. You've earned the right, I think, to say some things to her. And to say, you know, I see you really applying a strict structure of faith. And yet, where is the love and compassion?
And Jill, as you point out, the complicated emotions missionaries can feel, we hear a lot from the children of missionaries how hard it is to be the child of a pastor or of a missionary. And there can be such time apart and even unintentional neglect from a parent to a child in situations like that. So that might play a factor in this untapped, unacknowledged guilt your friend might feel. I'm in agreement with Jill that I think God might be compelling you to share a tough truth with your friend. So I would be so cautious about when and how to do that. And I would set it up, Eleanor, in first deciding how much listening capacity do you have, being careful not to extend beyond your capacity, because that puts us all into kind of an angry listener position, and we're just not kind and generous when we go too far. So limit your listening to what you truly can genuinely give to her, and then prayerfully consider, when are you supposed to bring truth to her that she's kind of comes across as a judgmental person, feels like only she's going to heaven, nobody else is, and that's hard to be in relationship with. I do think she needs to hear that from you. She may not be able to accept it, but God is probably calling you to bring it to her. Now, what we can do when we have tough feedback, we can tell a person, I've got something that I think God wants me to bring to you, but it might be hard to hear. When can you hear it? If not now, when? Can I bring it back up again in a week or so? Because I want to be careful about your grieving heart, but let me know when I can bring it up. But then you got to respect if she says, I'm not ready to hear it yet. If you forced it, she probably wouldn't take it in anyhow. So let her decide when you bring it up to her.
Plus, she may not want to hear it if she feels she's on a different level spiritually than Eleanor is. She might say, I don't need to hear this from you, right? And then what? I mean, is that when you just love from afar? Or is that when you just pray?
Well, I think, I think you can use the long-term friendship as a card with her that, we have a lot of history together. So this is about our longevity of relationship, that I want to speak some things into your life.
We want to send you the Life Recovery Workbook for Grief to have you share with your friend. But you page through it first before you send it on to her, because it'll help you both know what to do next.
All right. We're going to send that to you. Eleanor, stay on the phone so that we can get your mailing address, and then we will put that in your hands. And like Alice said, look through it first, and then send it off to your friend in Taiwan, who's doing great work for the Lord, but she's just struggling with things. And I guess she's just grieving in a way that may not seem the best, but stay on the phone. We'll be back with more of your calls here on New Life Live. I'm Brian Perez with Alice Benton and Jill Hubbard.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Thank you so much for listening and watching today. I'm Brian Perez, and it's another double doctor day. We've got Alice Benton and Jill Hubbard here to answer your questions, and we're going to get to the phones in just a little bit. First, let me remind you, in this new year, if you are doing something new for the new year, why not make it by joining Club New Life? Your monthly gift will help people who are facing some of life's hardest places to connect with the help that they need to find a new life of freedom. You can make a difference. You hear the calls that come in all the time. You hear the letters that we read on the program here. You are helping us to change people's lives, and you can do that by finding out more about Club New Life on our website, newlife.com. If you want to go right to the Club New Life page, just go to newlife.com/CNL, as in Club New Life, newlife.com/CNL.
And there are a lot of benefits to being a Club New Life member. I've built quite the library off of some of the benefits I've received. It's well worth it.
Yep. Again, newlife.com/CNL. Okay, let's talk to Tina, who is in Baltimore, Maryland, listening on WAVA. Hello, Tina.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well, thanks. What's going on with you?
I have a question about spiritual warfare.
Okay.
How would I know if God wants me to do spiritual warfare?
And what's the situation that you're wondering if spiritual warfare is involved?
Okay, so 2 boys on my bus were engaging in a sexual act. I'm a school bus driver.
Oh.
So I was talking to someone at my church, and they indicated that God wants me to do spiritual warfare, because I do believe that the aggressor has a demon on him. I do. Because that student isn't the first student that he tried.
Ooh.
And like one morning, he had a big bottle of baby oil pointed in one of the students' hands. And then when he's in the back of the bus, if the other students aren't on the bus, when he's in the back of the bus, he's weird, portraying weird.
Are you not allowed to talk to administrators and say that this kid is a problem, and maybe they can talk to his parents or something?
I am. I can go into the school and write it up and take it into the school. But when a church member indicated, she said, "That's your boss. That God may be wanting you to do spiritual warfare." And then prior to that, for myself, because I was having sleep issues, just continuing to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Some people kept telling me spiritual warfare.
Tina, there's usually necessity for both, in my opinion, both a practical approach to either one of those problems that you're talking about. And then I think spirituality is always a good angle to consider and to take spiritual action within that angle. And so speaking to authorities to either have intervention done with this boy and to keep your bus safe. And maybe he's not safe to be on your bus. That might be the case.
He may need to be removed.
So that's the practical side. But I think whenever there's sin, there's temptation, and the enemy he's a prowling, roaring lion looking for whom he can tempt and pull into sin. And so your willingness to be there in a spiritual format of prayer, bathing your bus in prayer, praying throughout your drive, praying for all the kids that are under your care, absolutely take that step. I don't think there's any reason not to. Now, you may have to do it quietly, and if this is a public school, you may not be allowed to do it out aloud, but you can certainly do it privately. Your sleep issue, sure, there may be a spiritual aspect to it, but there could also be a medical aspect. There could be your mind racing because you're so worried about what's happening on your bus. So adding in psychological intervention, counseling if you need it, medical evaluation, and spiritual warfare. Yes.
So my main concern with the school system is that they're not going to do anything, and they're not going to take him off. I know this for a fact.
Wow.
So...
And so have you not brought it to their attention because you're so certain they won't do anything?
Not yet. When we return back to school on Thursday.
Right. Because this is a kid basically being a perpetrator and abusing other kids.
Exactly.
So if the school won't do anything, Tina, if the school won't do anything, then they're not the only people to go to in authority. You may have to consider calling Child Protective Services because his victims are being perpetrated against. You might even consider calling the police, bringing it to the attention of your bosses at the bus company. I mean, get this to every authority figure you need to find the one who will do something.
Because this boy needs help, and the other kids need protection.
Yeah.
And if he's perpetrating, it's so likely that somebody's perpetrating against him or has at some point.
Exactly.
And you can even call Child Protective Services anonymously.
Yeah.
And get some input from them.
You're right that when we ring the alarm bell, sometimes nothing happens at first.
Yeah.
And so we got to keep ringing it as many times as is necessary until somebody's willing to take action.
Well, because we create a paper trail.
Yeah.
And then when it keeps happening multiple times, finally someone will intervene. So
right, okay, because this is the second child he done attempted.
Okay.
And I'm really, really concerned about it. But
and rightly so. Tina, you can address this boy directly as well, letting him know, I care about you. Exactly. I know what's going on, and this will not be taking place in my bus. And these are the steps that I'll be taking. I want you to be able to keep riding my bus, but I'm going to be doing something about this because I'm going to keep all of you safe.
Right, and can you ask him to sit at the front of the bus?
Great idea.
Right, I'll ask him to sit down from time to time because he's standing and opening up the windows and stuff, and sometimes he doesn't do it. He's opening up the windows.
It's unsafe for you.
Yes, when one of the boys are getting off, he wants to yell, I guess, sexual stuff towards him.
Wow, Tina, this is really tough.
Yeah, this boy, you're right. He's probably been perpetrated against because he's so out there with it.
So I don't know if Tina's friends from church are, when they say that this is spiritual warfare, if they want her to lay hands on this boy and, whatever. But like one of you said, prayer. Just pray as you're driving because that is the best way to
ask God to intervene. Yes.
God, yeah.
But you've got to handle it from all different angles.
Yes.
Like you said, Alice, from the spiritual standpoint and the practical, and alerting people who could possibly intervene.
Jill, I'm debating between Take Your Life Back or our Boundaries book because either one of them would be a good fit for Tina to be re-empowered of what she can do about these tough situations.
Take Your Life Back.
Take Your Life Back.
Okay, we're going to send that to you. Stay on the phone and we will get your address and then put that in the mail to you. Thank you so much for calling in today, Tina, on New Life Live. So we are just about done with the program today. Let me remind you to go to newlife.com to find out about all things New Life, including the Every Man's Battle Initiative, which begins on January 10th. There's still time to sign up, guys, for that. Also, our New Life courses on grief and Weight Loss. Lose It for Life is the name of that one. That begins on January 13th. You can go to newlife.com to sign up for that. It's a new avenue of help that we are providing at New Life. We've got some other intensives and workshops coming up. The Intimacy and Marriage is happening on Valentine's Day in Orange County, California. The Restore Workshop in Dallas, May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And there's so much more that we are doing. I don't have enough time to tell you all about it. So go to newlife.com, follow us on social media, download the New Life app, and thank you so much for listening today and for watching. Keep us in prayer as we keep you in prayer as well. God bless you. For Alice Benton and Jill Hubbard, I'm Brian Perez. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.